Well, good morning. Happy Thursday. Had to think about that.
I know.
Welcome to Ozarks Fox Amp. I'm Jeremy Rabe.
And I'm Maddie Conklin. And
oh my goodness, I totally forgot what I was going to bring out here to give a shout out to a viewer.
Do you want to go grab it?
I left it at my desk.
Do you want to go grab it?
Jesse, do you want to fill in for me and I'll run get it?
Oh, no. I got this.
My big chance.
I got this. No.
Jake.
Producer Jake's going to go grab it.
It's on the floor right beside my desk. I showed Jake. I got a beautiful book in the mail with a letter. And I was at my desk this morning when I got there, and I left it on the floor so I wouldn't forget it, and I forgot.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, hey,
Thank you,
things
Jake.
happen. We're this much closer to Friday, so that means our brains are this much closer to not remembering anything.
And the worst part is I told Maddie this morning, I got up about 11 p.m. to use the restroom, and in my brain, I thought it was Friday night, and I said, oh, I get to sleep in tomorrow. It's Saturday. And then I went, it's only Thursday today.
It's only Thursday.
So my brain was off.
See, that happens to me, but it will actually be Friday going into Saturday, and I'll jolt out of bed at 3 going, I have to go to work. And
Producer
like,
Jake to the rescue.
Wait.
Thank you, Jake.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Thank you. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so I had gotten a Facebook message, I don't know, actually got it last fall, and you know how things get lost in the shuffle?
Yep.
Well, he re-messaged me, thank the Lord, anyway, he's a lovely gentleman named Todd Sparnick from Ava, Missouri, and he had messaged me saying that his mom had passed away and she was a huge fan.
Oh.
And so he wrote a book in her memory, in her honor. So this is the book that he wrote for his mother, and he goes, I'd love to send you a copy. I think it's called, there we go, The Misfits.
Hillbilly.
Misfit Hillbillies from New York City.
I love it.
That's the book. He sent a lovely note, and so this is, I mean, that's a good
Well, there's
book.
also, I think, a picture of his mom on the back.
Yes, oh, here, let me do that. Yes, thank you so much. Missed that part. There's the mama. Here's his sweet, sweet letter. Todd, thank you so much. Dear Jeremy, as per our message, here's a copy of my mom's book. I hope you enjoy it. She did think the world of you. If you enjoyed the book and want to share it with your friends, it can be purchased on Amazon. This is your copy just for entertaining my mother for all those years. My only regret is that I couldn't get it published before her death. Keep being your cheerful self.
Well, you got it published, and bottom line, you got it published, and you know she's probably so happy.
Yes, and I'm sorry, it was written by her. I'm sorry,
written by her.
Written by him. It was written by her, but he couldn't get it published before her death. But she wrote it.
Okay, I just want to.
Isn't that amazing? Thank you so much, Todd, and your sweet, sweet mama, who, oh my gosh, that is just Jan
Allison Sparnick. Oh, well, I want to know what all this is about, like the Misfit Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Leaves lots of the imagination.
From New York. Oh
48 chapters. Wow, she was working on this for a long time.
You know what? And because you did this, her memory and her work will live on forever now. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it.
Sounds like a comedy. I like it.
I bet it is.
I feel like a misfit all the time.
It's kind of like the Beverly Hillbillies. You know, when you move from New York to the Ozarks, it's going to be a culture shock.
There you go.
Just saying. Anywho's.
Jesse, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. That is a touching story.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
And you never know.
Yeah.
By the way, because I was telling you about going to that event Sunday, we're in a studio with our friends, and we never know who we're touching out there. You never know.
Yeah.
Who's ever watching and needs like that pick-me-up for that day, you just never know.
Yeah.
All the people you're reaching who you might make a difference.
There you go.
Isn't it nice when you are able to go out and do events and meet people? And like you said, Jeremy, I mean, we're in here with usually no more than 5, 6, maybe 7 people at a time, and it's just us, and we're doing our thing. And it's, you know, we forget sometimes that there are people out there who are, you know, connecting with us in ways that we can't necessarily see or feel. So always nice to meet our viewers out there and hear their stories, and that's a great one.
Yeah, that is.
I'm
Most
glad
of the
you
time
shared
I forget
that
we're on
today.
TV. So
I know. It's like we're just here talking and doing our jobs.
That's part of the magic, folks.
Isn't that cool though? This is our job.
Yeah.
You know, I love it.
We got a good one.
Yes.
Got a good one. A couple stories for you here. This one is, I love this story because it's just so odd. A home was seen floating down the San Francisco Bay this week.
What?
You kind of just have to see this to believe it. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage. This is a 2-story houseboat with skylights and a white picket fence around the home. That kind of seems like a fish out of water there, doesn't it?
What? It looks so tiny. Is that real?
Yeah. This is, someone was living their dream here in this oceanside home. According to an online news website, the San Francisco Standard, that home was towed from its original dock, it's a houseboat, in San Mateo County, California, because the state was forcing out a community of houseboats there. So in the effort to relocate, one of the CBS News choppers caught that overhead, and we're like, what are we seeing here? Is this the Full House home here floating down the San Francisco
Wow.
Bay? You know, I wish I could remember the lyrics to the Full House song because I'd love to sing them over.
Whatever
this right
happened to predictability?
Predictability.
The milkman, the
Paper boy.
even MTV.
Yeah, that's what I thought of whenever I like the slow zoom into the home at the start of that was.
Jesse, I love that you brought that up. Candace Cameron Bure's got on their show tomorrow.
No,
Full
a
House.
DJ.
DJ. Tanner.
Okay.
What a tie-in.
What a tie-in.
I love
that
when
side.
things
I have
go
so many
like that.
questions though about this house.
Yeah.
People are living in it?
Well, and you have the questions. I likely don't have the answers.
Okay.
But
I need to know.
It's
are
fun
people,
to think about.
Are people living in it? And how do they pay mortgage? Like, is it anywhere? Or do they have to have a permit to be floating?
Okay, I do know this.
Okay.
Because I love real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, depending on that house, of course, is going to be expensive. Sometimes it's cheaper to have a houseboat because you lease the dock or you buy the dock. Or
Okay.
You plug in. There are actually houseboat communities, a lot of them in California.
Really?
Oh,
How did I not
tons
know
in California.
this?
That's amazing.
I've seen so many renovation shows about renovating houseboats to make
No
it your
way.
dream home. Yes. So there's a whole thing you have to go through, but technically a little bit cheaper than land, but
Yeah.
again, you're on a houseboat, so
Yeah,
you can't get
true.
seasick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Be one of those things where, here's the yard.
It
You
is
don't have to mow.
water.
And 99% of the time, they stay docked the whole time.
They do.
Don't go
They
out.
don't
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
float.
okay. Okay. Like I know I've seen some houseboats before. Like at least one I've seen in the Ozarks. Like there was one floating around a few years ago that I saw, and I was just in awe of this thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the
They
life.
can be really extravagant, really beautiful, and like just a house just
Yeah.
floating.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
That is a crazy story. This is one that is not very interesting. So it's,
But do tell,
well,
Jesse.
the
Great
national-
lead-in. We're
let me-
excited.
let me just tee it up like that. The National Football League working to protect players by debuting new helmets this season. The league approved a dozen new helmets after a year that saw 219 concussions during the preseason and regular season. That's the second straight year with over 200 head injuries. So they're making 12 new helmet models for players to wear this upcoming season, and they'll be kind of a position-specific helmets. So what I'm wondering is, if we can get a Travis Kelce helmet with like some Taylor Swift bedazzled, sparkling something, I mean, whatever you got to do, keep him safe and look stylish at the same time. So, yeah,
Now-
that's my effort to make that interesting. So,
Now here you actually might have answers because you do follow football.
yeah.
Are helmets different per position?
Yeah, they are. Like the face masks for sure. Like I know that.
Okay.
Like, something like the big dudes, the big burly 300-pound linemen, they've got like a whole thing of like, it looks like a knight's helmet. Like they're just so covered.
Okay.
So you don't get a finger in the eye or anything.
Okay.
Can I
Okay.
ask
Got
you-
it.
Okay, a follow-up of that great question.
Well, thank you.
I got another question then. Do helmets interfere with your peripheral vision? Because if you're running and you're
I
looking
would
and you
say
can't
so.
see over here,
Yeah.
I mean, like, how do you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
where you're going? You're looking for the ball or somebody's ball. Like, to me, that would be scary.
From my limited experience as a terrible high school athlete who played football, yeah, it does. It's hard to like run in, like running is one thing, and like looking around if you're just hanging out with the boys and you catch the football. Doing it in pads and a helmet
Yeah.
it just throws you off. It's a lot harder. It's a different set of skills.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with that. That'd be hard.
Speaking of Jesse, I did pass your alma mater, Republic High
Republic.
School. Over the weekend,
Oh.
I was with Chris Luzader from
yes,
the
yes.
Dove, and she was kind of showing me different like hiking trails and whatnot. And then I go, oh, Republic, that's where Jesse went. She goes,
I went to school.
I meant to tell you on Monday, but now it's Thursday, so I'm telling you now.
Hey, no such thing as a
And that's a dead end story.
dollar short. Yeah, a very beautiful
That
campus
was-
out there.
It's great.
So
Maddie pulled that out of the blue, and I love it.
There we go.
yeah,
you.
that's like the MO of the show occasionally. At
Jesse,
least
Yes.
when
where,
I'm
was,
in.
where was your hangout spot in
So.
Republic? Where'd you hang out?
Taco Bell.
Oh,
That's why we're friends.
wise man, wise man.
I knew I liked you,
Bell.
Jesse. Knew I liked you.
I'm curious to know where Tom Schmidt hung out.
Yeah, where'd you hang out in high school, Tom?
In high school?
Yeah, where's
Everybody
your high
liked, it was Canes. Everybody
wow.
loved Canes.
Really?
Okay, because I had Raising Cane's out there to pull all the trucks up and
Yeah,
back
there
them
was.
in.
It was like Canes or Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
There were like 5 Chick-fil-A's.
Ours was
in Edmonds. Growing
Jack in
up.
the Box.
There were a lot.
I love Jack in the
Oh,
Box.
I wish we had one so bad. That needs to go next.
I have begged our audience, because you know we got some entrepreneurs in the Ozarks, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
know people who franchise. Please, franchisees, if you are watching or know somebody or have a loved one who's a franchise owner, get us a Jack in the Box. They're
would love
upset.
that.
They're upset.
I'd love to know the costs associated
Me
with all
too.
that.
Yeah. Hey, guess
Yeah.
what? 4 of us, we could pitch in, right?
If we pitch in.
50, 60,000 each.
Oh,
Oh, as I say, like $5. I got 5. I got 5.
Wait, do any of you know how to run a restaurant?
I know how to work in one. That's all I know.
I can serve the food.
Okay, I can eat the food.
That's
Taste
it.
tester.
We
Yes,
need a taste tester.
Guys,
Quality
well
control.
served.
That's true.
Yes.
Food will come. It may not be good food, but it's coming your way.
Coming your way.